Ladies and gentlemen, you are very welcome to the Ulti TV YouTube production of Windmill Wind-Up 2018, the Open Division, the semi-final, the beating Dutch Sun on a Saturday afternoon. Is there anywhere else in the world you'd rather be?
Oh, certainly not Lorcan.
Chevron Action Flash, the pride of the North, but they've spread throughout the country, taking on one localized talent in CUSP. And we're off to a flying start with a huge shot to the end zone, collected for the smooth and comfortable score by Steve Colthammer. Oh, nope, but he pops it in. Nicely done.
Yeah, that one falling just shy. The huck of Sam Turner there on the far sideline. Not quite enough to make the score, but very well received, as you quite rightly pointed out, Lorcan, by the safe hands of Stephen Colthammer.
Absolutely marvelous stuff. And coming out flying immediately, that was what? 4 passes? I thought it was 3. But
I would say even less, perhaps.
Even less.
How many did they take to center it?
These are the things. This is how quickly they move. And this is why you need to keep your attention here for the next hour and a half, because this game will only move at one speed, and that is breakneck.
Indeed, expect to see plenty of points on the board for both sides as we see some of the slickest offenses within the European Open Ultimate scene. And Lorcan, I am excited for this match.
You have every reason to be, as here come CUSP, Fotta on offense, going up against that physical, athletic Chevron D-line. Here's Copy, cool as a breeze. A welcome one on this warm afternoon. Frank Jean surveys, waits for options, gives it to Laffy. This is a nice relaxed dumping. Nothing really happening downfield. Guys are marked close. Hermitslev, Laffy. And he puts it. Half pitch, leading pass, picture perfect to Lorenzo Pavin.
Yeah, some would argue that just might not have been the best choice. Same third huck, but extraordinarily well executed.
That's something that all of the CUSP players are so adept at. I was saying this in the match we were broadcasting earlier. They just, pretty much all of them, can do a half pitch length leading pass, and they can just do it, and it's fine. So it's constantly an option, especially when Laffy gets it. Captain of the Italian under-24 side, got those silver medals. Nearly faultless.
And of course, the program coming out of Bologna, the home of the CUSB teams, CUSP, as they're known, doing wonders for the junior scene in Italy. They came out with a very dominant performance in Perth at the under-24s. Certainly scared a lot of the North American sides.
Reigning European champions at under-20.
Exactly. There is strength in the Bologna side.
No, actually, Bologna is about the size of Limerick, which is where I'm from. It's pretty small. It's about 100,000 people. They have 800 Ultimate players. That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And they're all coming up through this system.
Well, a testament then to the efforts of the club leadership.
But then they're just going up against a bunch of lads. A bunch of lads from England. Bunch of friends, play together, fight together. We're going to see exactly what that looks like right now. Centers his disc, Josh Kime. Thinks about something adventurous, a little bit more mundane. Dominic Dathan, a man I can't say enough good things about, but I will keep trying. Ben Barak.
And a man who's not very well marked in the hand of space, Dom Dathan. Not sure that's a wise choice.
No, not really. You can't give him too much rain. Enough rope to hang yourself with, and it's a beautiful shot to the end zone.
Nick Williams under it.
Well, it's going to hang, and he skies it.
Fantastic early bid. A little bit of contact, perhaps, though, as the players discuss after that amazing snatch out of the air.
I don't know. That looked clean to me. That just looked like Williams made that his and went and got it.
There's certainly an argument to be made for the timing of Williams's bid into the air. Certainly nice and early.
Well, here we get another look at it. So there goes up the disc. Lots of float. And here he comes. Child's play.
Yeah, difficult for the Italian player there, but I think by virtue of the fact that Williams did go up quite so early, even though there was the contact, and perhaps he was saying by virtue of going up, he stopped him from jumping himself, but...
That's fair. I can see that. I can see that. I feel like that's a level of physicality. Would you agree? Or am I being a little precious? That would be a level of physicality Chevron would be comfortable playing with. I would have thought CUSP would be fairly comfortable playing with as well.
So that's going to be, well, it's going to be a contested foul.
There we go. You don't think these guys, you know, capable of a little bit of bump and grind?
Certainly capable. I think that's a tricky call to make on that particular instance. Like I say, Williams did go up extraordinarily early and had a fantastic read. So it's sort of, I suppose the argument the CUSP player perhaps is making is that he was in the midst of about to make his jump and therefore was prevented by Williams, but I'm not sure that's necessarily a foul or just really
early bird
good approach. Yeah, early bird getting the worm. But this will come back.
All right, well, we get a little bit more action. Brack.
Action flash indeed.
Rolo Dixon, a man who is fast becoming one of the best cutters in Europe. Williams gets it on the under, plays it down, nice and comfortable.
Chevron needs to look to swing.
Oh, they're getting a little bit of trouble. That's a lot of pressure from Santucci. Dathan gets it. And now it could go anywhere. My money's on. Oh, nice cheeky back. Oh, no.
Oh, popped
Bubbled.
up. Oh, the defense nearly bobbling the disc into the hands of the offense on this occasion. Davide Mori will then look to check the disc.
It does not satisfy Davide Mori. Bring me a new disc.
Bring me a new frisbee. This one must be more under my own command.
Well, he has a wide dominion, it must be said.
Yeah, talking about the leadership of the CUSP program, Davide Mori, one of the, as you like to say, the talismanic figureheads of that program.
Il Deuce.
Very, very committed to the development of his local scene. Love him or hate him, he does a lot of work, and that is a big put.
That's what he does. That's Santucci on the other end, though. He trusts that man with his life, or at least with risky discs.
Oh!
And beautifully finished off, comfortably followed up. Ivan Cantu getting the score, but you can expect to see that connection all day.
And that is a break of score, the first one in this match for the gentleman from Bologna. Will we get perhaps another look at that sensational put from Davide Mori?
No hesitation.
Well, why would you?
I suppose it's just no time for it. Santucci so reliable in that position.
Kime will be disappointed with that one. Left himself.
That's a tall order.
Job.
Hard job. He did.
Just by vote. Wow, he was a little bit off when he went for the bid. You know, he wasn't. Could have been perhaps a little bit tighter.
That's a tough man to stay tight to, though.
Oh yeah, but you know.
I suppose you could always be a little bit tighter.
Chevron are trying to say, you know, they belong with the best teams in the world.
True.
CUSP are arguably one of those teams, and you know, difficult matchups. You're going to expect every single player on the line to be a difficult matchup at that level. Else, why the heck are they on that team?
That's stunningly true. Undeniable.
And extremely obvious.
Yeah, so
I can be relied upon to give obvious observations as to the fact that this is elite level ultimate that we are bringing you here from this Windmill tournament in the lovely, lovely sunshine.
So here come Chevron.
Oh, and that's a potentially gorgeous pole.
Oh, a lot of time in the gym and well worth it. Swing around Dathan, looking for options. Nice little bit of poaching here from CUSP. Coming back.
Huge fake from Joe Winder. Himself lots of space for the open.
Joe Winder is such an exciting prospect as an addition to this Chevron team. Oh, and there's a brilliant throw from Kohlheimer. Nope.
I think there might
Too low.
be a... Is there going to be a discussion in the backfield as to the trip and what that had? Nope. No, it's going to let that poor throw fly to the ground, uncontested.
Okay.
As one of our roster sheets drifts off.
Well, it's
and local farmer Kasper Schmidt, as some of you may remember from the Windmill wipe some years ago. To the rescue. So Lorcan.
Mercy.
Mercy you.
Thomas Edmund. Trombetti. Down the line. Fiorentino. Oh no, it's going to have to go back. Seems to be a bit of conversation. Not entirely sure what's the conversation is.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd one, but
Things maybe getting a bit too physical.
so still very early on in this game. All to play for. Exciting scenes thus far.
Just a bit of conversation. Have a nice little debate. Fiorentino still with the disc. CUSP still on for another break.
The Chevron will certainly do.
Conversation seems to be at the
Best.
sideline. Dathan seems fine. Dathan seems like he's just ready to go.
Oh, that
Tense.
Lorcan is why we avoid the sideline getting involved in calls until absolutely necessary.
And here we go. Fiorentino down the line beautifully. And they made that look easy and then fluffed their lines. Unfortunate drop. So now, Chevron get another look. Josh Kime. Front corner.
Striding towards the disc.
Wind dying down. Winder in the middle. Coldheimer right in front of him, gives it to him. Two people go deep, and he
the big
launches
man.
it. Barak. Oh, who's going to collect it? Well, Barak's the one who winds up with the score, but Sax Dixon, and those are two phenomenal players for this Chevron side.
That is an absolute sensation of a backhand from Steve Coldhammer, putting it into the perfect space for two streaming Chevy players deep. What more can you ask for, Lorcan?
Oh, man.
And we'll see that one again. Trio of CUSP players on the back foot. And great heads-up play. Good connection. Sometimes, well, I say sometimes, oftentimes you can see a deep disc received nicely, but then a little bit too much hastiness in the end zone, but that was almost perfect.
Yeah, you got to commend Sax Dixon there. He had a very small window. A lot of people make a mistake, especially on this stage, especially after there was a big break in the middle of the point. But nope, straight away, boom, pop it in. Business.
Indeed, I think perhaps his center of gravity wasn't perfect, but Barak pulled it in well.
Always great to see two guys as well. Burning after it as here comes Chevron on the defense, trying to get that break back. Laffy underneath it. Centers. Sang. So comfortable with the disc in hand. Beautifully plays it. Tejpar. Two Canadians connecting. And smooth swinging Franchini. Laffy. Says no to Hermitslav. Says yes to Sang. Franchini. Tejpar. And beautifully inside.
Through the zone now.
It's very comfortable. It's very calm. You really just appreciate that they're taking what's available and they're taking it quickly, Hannah.
Indeed, in a transition now from Chevron.
Laffy with the disc.
Still trying to contain.
I like that little bit of help defense. Franchini. Laffy.
Up it goes. Oh, and a miscommunication leaves the defender poached in the lane with no help whatsoever.
Yeah, unfortunately on a bit of an island. Caught face marking and Laffy recognizes it, just sends it around.
Yeah, Mark Simpson there without any ability to know. Sideline just wasn't anywhere near him. Shame, really, because he could have had a pretty impressive bid had he known the disc was there.
That's something you can normally credit Chevron with, having a load of people at tournaments. Certainly over the last few tournaments, anyway. Having a very loud sideline. It's a little bit of a subdued sideline now that you think about it.
It does seem to be.
Seeing enough.
In fact, if we look at the, well, there are 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players, well, 12 available to be on that sideline, so you think 6 aside. Although, notably absent is Chevron's coach.
Very true.
Where she is, we are not sure. Perhaps on a training weekend if she's attending Worlds with her own team. But I'm not sure if she is playing
She's
Black
abandoned
Eagles.
them, cast them off.
Perhaps.
Stir in the pot. Multiple departures.
But I tell you what, we do have an exciting return of somebody who will not be present at Worlds. It's too late to roster for it. But a very old, long-time player, Mark Davin, used to play for Chevy in their Bristol-based pod.
Oh, nice.
There are a northern and southern team
combined.
Wow. And Mark Davin, actually having picked up in the Tom's Tourney show game against Chak, enjoyed himself so much that he decided to get back on board.
Oh, that's such a wonderful story. And people say, there's no point to show games. Barak thinks about it and follows through. That's commitment.
That's Truster Williams again. Great boxing, but just enough pressure from the defense.
Tognetti coming through and hitting it away. I really thought that was Williams. I thought he had position initially. Tognetti just seemed to get around him. Agile.
Appears to be in a retracted foul call. Little discussion there as to, did you hit me in the back? I felt like you hit me in the back.
And nothing wrong with a little bit of discussion.
No, not at all. In fact, discussions, fair-minded discussions are very much encouraged in a game of Ultimate. It's sometimes very difficult to make the correct call on your own. That's why you have 14 players, you have a perspective.
Now Mori to mine. He's got a perspective. Perspective of what he's going to do, and it's a nice little backhand. Comes around, Tognetti. People in the middle. Nah, he goes for the flick break. Of course he goes for the flick break. He plays for CUSP.
Big space.
And there's that half-pitch leading pass to a criminally open receiver. This time it's Fiorentino. They filter through. Oh, no, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Perhaps a travel call.
Yes, perhaps.
Seems the most likely in this instance.
Franceschi, the offender.
That was an absolute money. Like you're saying, these lead somewhere between a lead pass and a huck, because they are
just right
very
in that
deep
sweet
lead passes.
Spot. They are, but they're not. They're always curving, and they're always nice and gentle and floaty, and they're always very much like slowly passing. There's no bombing it element to them, I don't think.
Well, it depends. I think for you or I, mere mortals, Lorcan, it would probably be, we'd have to be using the very stretch of our sprint stride pace in order to reel those ones down. But I agree, CUSP making those look very, very,
I forget
very
how
easy
slow
to
I
catch.
actually am when I watch this, and I'm like, yeah, that's how fast I run. No, it isn't.
Yeah, I imagine.
Tognetti. Fiorentina. On the line, back in, Tognetti. So confident, and boom! Okay, that one's got a little bit of mustard on it. I'll give you that.
Oh, great battle there, but unfortunately, no dice for the Ben Barrett defense there.
Cantu getting the score. Always seem to have position, but Barak, he's like a shark. Just gotta be alert.
There was some furious repositioning as he was running that down behind, sort of zigzagging behind to try and spook it, set up maybe perhaps a run through or a layout, just not able to come up with the goods. Still though, hotly contested, which is exactly what you want to see.
4-2 to CUSP. Early lead, early advantage, and there's the timeout.
That is not an unexpected call in this scenario. Chevron desperately need to stem the bleeding, the cut that CUSP has put on their, I'd probably say their shoulder at the moment. They've got a big gash there. So, you know,
Is it going to go right next to that chip? That's what they need right now. They need the right kind of that Chevy fire. And I think that's what they're going to go do. You know, something you really appreciate about those groups. Like, everyone's like, oh, what do you think they're saying in that circle right now? I think they're just chatting. I think they're just reminding themselves of who they are, how they support each other. Group of friends, ready to go out there, fire each other up.
Right you are, Lorcan. I mean, it's not really large problems and issues. It's just the tweaks, the small things. They're not quite getting right. That just to Williams, sort of, you know, had the initially looked like he caught it, and then unfortunately seemed to tip out the hand. There's not really much you can do in that scenario other than say do it better.
Just got to get right. Just got to keep the positivity up and trust that the rest of it is just drilled into you. At this point, there's a level of skill that's just drilled into you.
Indeed, and we've seen some sensational stuff from these lads this season. Hopefully they can bring it out in front of the international stage. Speaking of Williams, I mean, I talked specifically about his personal error there. He had a bit of a stormer by all accounts in the final of Tour 2, the domestic tournament in the UK, which I believe you were covering. Perhaps were you there, Lorcan? No.
I was watching and thoroughly enjoying myself.
Well, yes.
Covering myself. Well, I wasn't, but he was covering himself in glory.
He was indeed.
There's
a lot
the
Tour
of great
1
talent.
final even, that was the one. He had one of the most sensational layouts by all accounts that anyone had seen for many moons. So, anyway, enough about the past. We are here in the present.
And what a gift this afternoon is. The sun has come out. That's a brick, so a bit of a gift to Chevron.
Indeed, I believe I saw the camera pointed at our commentary booth there, Lorcan, and I have my legs fully out to try and get rid of my hideous frisbee tan.
You just got to accept it. There's no escaping it. As Dathan starts back in, Maury trying to intimidate him, trying to spook the soul out of him. Kime, made of sturdier stuff. He won't bow down. Though he might go for a little dishy backhand. There it is. Dathan. Now he's just looking for holes, but they're being pushed back and the wind is starting to come into their face. Maury is... He calls.
So...
Just a little bit of technicality calling there.
Indeed. Something about a fast count, if I hear correctly.
And being as far away as we are, we can only assume we hear correctly.
His teammates saying, Davide.
Back in we are. Dathan looking for the little pop. No one else really coming to help immediately. They're trying to split Tognetti back there. That blade is going over and misread, unfortunately, by Sam Turner.
Yeah, he had to go aggressively with the defender on his shoulder.
Oh, it's coming back.
Perhaps a little bit of contact on the throw then.
Could be. Kime gets another look at it. Winders being well marked by Calarota.
Do you think we might see a frustration hug in the near future?
God, I hope so. I mean, right down there. Rolo Sachs-Dixon. Just send it. Just send it. Or go for the dump. Or send it.
Huge hammer into the center of the pitch. Oh, that looked like
it was
it
a
really
hospital
hurt.
pass. Oh, that was always a dangerous one. You got to put some float under that. That wasn't a competition. That was a trap.
No, sucking in players from both sides of the field into one hideous vacuum.
Why would you not just put out a big old backhand, float it up?
Well, I think the issue was there. The force was quite so tight.
It was a very
wasn't
effective
really an option.
zone.
Yeah, I mean, the shutdown defense on the mark that Maury was playing was very impressive. Certainly very aggressive, really in the face, high energy.
Love it. Got to be intimidating if you're in that position. Got to put that person under pressure at all times. Never let them be comfortable.
Yes, oftentimes you'll see lesser players use the force almost as a time to rest because they're not running around. But no, that is the most important, most active part of any defense because you can shut down a whole half a field and even more if you're really good.
It's very difficult to shut down any of the field if Sang is the man you're trying to stop throw.
Certainly is.
Santucci to Maury. Waiting for options. Tognetti rests in front of him. That's a dishy little pass. Gets away with it, and he blades that one all the way across for Santucci, who toes the line and throws up the hands. Nice.
Excellent vision there. Far side. Roll curve flick. I'm a big fan of that putt.
It's a lovely one. I thought maybe there was a bit too much edge on that blade, but...
Clearly, Lorcan, you do not play enough indoors. Look perfect to me.
So there it is. I just thought it came out a little sharp, but when you're as talented as Geppetto Santucci, you can make that catch easy.
We hear some passionate voice on the sideline. A little bit more information about the call something to do with wrapping, I believe.
Well, Davide is certainly fired up. And this sun is beating down. CUSP powerfully in the lead. And still that time I don't think it's like a small adjustment they need to make. That time they got stifled. That zone crushed them. What were they doing wrong? How were they playing into it?
Well, I think the issue was they were holding on to the disc far too long. With the aggressive way in which CUSP were trying to put the pressure really on the handler set, I think it would have been nicer to see them move a lot more rapidly, move the disc around. Don't really allow that force to set the pressure and really kind of shut you down. If you can keep moving it between you, changing the angle of attack.
Never let the defense set.
Basically, yeah.
Well, let's see.
Once you're under pressure.
No, I like this, Winder. He's got an awful lot of throws. And even more smarts. Dathan, and there's the quick attack that you were talking about, but then still, a little bit of stagnation. Hammer over the top, comfortably taken in by Colt Hammer.
See, that's a much better hammer there.
Barak just with an unfortunate drop. Tognetti with a blade over the top. They're going, and we just can't stop. Sorry.
This CUSP side looking.
Tasty little scuba, though. That's cheeky. Mine gets it. Throws Colt Hammer to the floor with a shoulder shake.
Pick up field. That was a fantastic shimmy shake.
Looses him, breaks his ankles. That's a lot of ankle to break. Mine goes for the easy one, Tognetti. He's been throwing a lot of blades. Stay just gives that smooth backhand. They keep going around.
Here's the thing. CUSP having no trouble at all resetting around the back, and there's a huge power blade. Oh!
That's
Winder.
Just unfortunate. Winder tries to step in to stop it. He seemed to get the correct position to pick the pocket, but instead just bats it up. Very unfortunate, and that's the kind of thing that can really break a spirit.
Well, it was a lot of blade on that throw. In fact, if anything, I think Winder probably helped out the offense there by slowing it a little. And what a heads-up play. I mean, fantastic work there from Michael Gasol.
Known as the beautiful weapon. That was all reflexes, though. Just snap, mousetrap. Collected 6-2. This is not how I thought this would go.
No, not at all.
So now Chevron having another timeout. They really need to rev up their engines. They did look much better moving through the zone up until Barak's unfortunate.
They did. That was much, much better. I think having the double loading of the two handlers, Joe Winder, and of course the man who seems to have found the fountain of youth itself, Dominic Dathan.
What do you mean? He's only 15. It's also very impressive that, like, you know, he comes over here to Amsterdam. That's how trustworthy all these other people are. His parents just letting their young teenage son playing for a long time. Very impressive. He
is a full adult in his own right, and he's also a wonderful human being who throws excellent parties. Can confirm.
People were wondering. That's what the public wanted to know, and we have confirmed it. What a pull!
Just a bit of colour for you.
Bringing it down. Keim gives it to Winder. Smoothie plays it along.
This is much better. There we go. Talking about fast movement. Here we are.
This is what you wanted to see from them. Keim gets it to Ali. Looking around. Still not too satisfied with what he's got. Thinks about going for that generous break. Instead goes all the way over the top magnificently to Rolo Saxe-Dixon. Pops it off.
Great work from Saxe-Dixon and Williams in the back. Double loading the deep, allowing that shot through.
Pulling it apart, which is what they've been looking for. Winder. You trust him to put up those kinds of throws as Keim. Still waiting for something, but it's getting more compact now. It's more difficult to pull them apart. And they are staying in this zone, which you gotta like. Well, I certainly like anyway. Final third staying in the zone. Respect that. Lots of switching. High-level defense. Keim still looking for a way through.
They're really playing together as a unit for sure. Bit of a call on the mark.
And you see a lot of the times teams go out of zones after like a certain number of passes or around the halfway, and I'm a big fan of holding on to zones for a while. As the pitch gets shorter, the zone gets far more effective. if you're able to move in complete unison, which it seems like CUSP are achieving right now. So calm, interlocked on wires, and there's a huge hammer just for fun, because sometimes when you can't get it done the right way, you have to cheat. That's not fair.
Oh, Lorcan.
Joe Winder.
It's not cheating. I can confirm. There's no wizardry afoot. There's no magic. It's just the fact that Joe Winder has been practicing those throws for so long. He just has them. Coming out of the GB Junior programs, playing for as long as anyone can remember. Joe Winder, I mean, he's come a long way.
That hammer went a long way.
Yep.
That was scintillating, legitimately. Tingles. My hands, they shake.
I honestly...
His don't.
No, they don't. They really don't.
There was a lot of pressure there. That was such a good zone by CUSP.
It was.
It still didn't work.
Not quite so aggressive on the force.
No, which I kind of like, that step off, and then they were trying to just use their agility and their conniving to just nip in and get a quick D. As here come CUSP. Copy. The O-line. We haven't seen them in a while. Franchini has it in the middle. Plays it comfortably along. Sang. So skilled. Every throw just looks manicured to perfection. Pavan. Oh, sorry. Sang.
Yeah, Chevron zone.
Mithra.
Not causing quite so many issues as
Not
CUSPs.
really. Franchini. Pavan. This one's Pavan. Earlier on I said Gasparini. And this is where they switched to man. CUSP stayed in the zone here. Gasparini. Plays it down. Terzbar. Sang. The Canadian connection. Mithra. Beautifully done. Relaxed.
See, there is the difference. As CUSP take it to 7-3, 4 points clear. That offense just... It's just like they were going for a little stroll, taking the disc for a walk, putting a leash on it, taking for a walk, throwing it some biscuits. That's the level of intense. Well, I say intensity. It was very intense and focused, but that's the level of trouble it was. It was just let's go and do it.
It was like a Buddhist kind of intense.
Yes, Buddhist intensity, very focused, like they were meditating with the disc.
And a lot of pickups people coming to the team for this season. Really playing key roles there, especially, we saw this in a lot of the games, Sang and Tejbar, the Canadians, who I'm a big fan of Sang. I think I'm falling in love with them.
Oh, the two Canadian gentlemen.
And then there's also Mitra, who's a fantastic player, coming from Austria. They're just such a polished unit.
Indeed, and those pickups really adding that extra little bit, you know, that special something. We'll talk a little bit more about the stories behind how those gents joined this CUSP team, as there are some interesting stories afoot. Certainly lots of complimentary.
And they need to start clawing back some points. A break here would be half. Sax Dixon, I like this, the switch to man. Mixing it up, never letting them get comfortable. Let's get physical, let's get close. Nicely played down the line. Dathan. Sides against what's immediately in front of him. Keim is burning deep and no one's really near him. There's a bit of a switch happens. Comfortably gets it back. Williams. Keim. Sax Dixon is there. He sends it to him. Maury gets caught underneath, and that's all about the throw.
Yeah, that was a very physical move to get free of Maury, but both players happy with that level of physicality. And a lovely, that was much nicer from Chevron. They got the flow and they kept the disc moving. Just nice and patient. That's more of what they want to do. Just use their big players. Smart cuts, get open for each other. Boom, boom, boom. Much nicer. Still, I think doesn't look quite as finessed as CUSP's offense.
It doesn't.
It's not quite that ease, but that's a good progress. I'm liking the progress. Chevron seems to, you know, O-line going to hold. That's what you need. Now D-line, see what they can do.
Well, I think there was a little bit of extra edge to the way that O-line held. Because right at the end, they're like, all right, You guys are beating us. Well, we're going to come at you. And we're not just going to come at you. We're going to come at your leader. Well, Sex Dixon was like, you know who I'm going to go beat for this? You know who I'm going to go out muscle? Maury. So that's a nice little statement. We're still here. You still have to work to cover us. But like you say, now it's on the D-line. It's all about that D-line. The best line.
Well, D-line is the line that wins you games. O-line can lose you games, but D-line is where you win it. You've got to go get the disc.
So let's see what they can do about it, because they haven't really come close recently. Laffy. Comes to play to the middle. What a layout! All right, so they mean some business. That's good. That's good to know. Waiting around.
Well, how to inspire your team, part 1.
Laffy. And look at how smooth and how quickly they move it. Mitra thinks about it. Decides against. Back to Laffy. And Kopi. Middle of the pitch.
Up it goes.
Puts it. That's so smooth. Pavin's underneath it, but...
Oh, what a snag!
No buts. I honestly thought that Jake Aspin, who I'm a big fan of, was going to be able to get that. He had position, and so often you see him just climb that ladder. But he climbed that ladder, and to his dismay, Pavin was already there.
Yeah, well, I disagree. I didn't think he quite had position, you know? He wasn't quite tight enough. He was there, but really, if anything, I thought Pavin just really had read that perfectly. He was in exactly the right spot. Credit. You know, I'm not going to try and throw any shade on Aspin and say he didn't do a good job. But that, to me, was Pavin's all day. Because, I mean, it was thrown for the guy. So...
That's fair. That's fair. I thought there was some dice to that. And it's just from last season and early in this season, you're watching and you're like, oh, yeah, no, Jake Aspin's not in the right position. You're like, oh, I guess
Suddenly
he was for Jake Aspin.
I suppose the difference maker is, at this point, the way the offense for CUSP is firing, that's why I made that assumption. You know, they're just looking so much more confident. I think, to be fair, if Aspin had managed to snag that one first, that would have been a huge momentum swing.
Very much
and
so. Now it's halftime.
As I say, we're talking about that perhaps gratuitous layout to try and stop the first pass.
Love it. Fire him up.
Yeah, definitely not the most effective player, but if that had come off.
If it had come off, which is why you got to do it. What an inspiration.
Exactly.
Got to take these risks.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say.
Exactly. So you just venture your body.
But 8-4, the gents from Bologna have double the score from the UK side. Chevron. Notably about their kit, Lorcan. How do you feel about the Adidas stripes? It's very football.
To me, it's unique to them. So now I just associate it with Chevron. I don't know anybody else who does that. It's got like that little English tone to it, which is the polite way of saying it. And
it's almost like they got lost on their way to training for something else, you know?
Right, like it looks like it's a load of lads from a football league. And
they're just like, you know what, this Frisbee stuff looks pretty fun. Should we just go play that?
And be unbelievable at it. But at this point, I now just think it's theirs, and they own it.
They do, they do. So we did say we'd talk a little bit more about some of the international flavour added to this CUSP pot. I particularly enjoy Rumi Tepar, who actually played with Team Canada at the under-24s in Perth, who finished behind the Italian squad. And he actually decided that what was going on in Bologna was at a higher level than the North American sides. So he wanted to bring his style over here, see what he could garner from the European scene, which I feel like is a fantastic credit to the development over here, because it's always you always hear about people talking about North American dominance. Colombia on the rise, perhaps Italy now on the rise, but exciting to see nonetheless.
CUSP certainly in an ascendancy all their own, sang Gasparini, but then Curse the commentator goes to hit Hermanslav, can't connect, and now this is the dream start to the second half. Half pitch, turnover.
Let's see if they can make the magic happen. Jake Aspin very free in the in.
Ready to work hard. And that's up. Undershot flick. The wind really punished it as he was trying to get it across to Issa Doulé. and couldn't complete.
Not much was really happening in the backfield there. Handlers having to just look in dismay. Bit of a chuck it in hope on that situation, I feel.
Unfortunate. That was their first real chance in quite a while. Now Laffy, very comfortable with the disc. Not really in a rush to do anything. Dejpar gets down to Hermitslav, collects, and he puts it as Pinger.
Oh,
what a day! Takes flight!
And as you'll see on the far sideline, the team from a fellow team from the UK, Smog. Williams actually very closely connected with that team, played with them in the mixed season in the domestic domestic scene back in the UK, choosing obviously to play Worlds with Chevy as opposed to Smog, committing to the team he's been playing with for many seasons now, but nice to see friends on the sideline cheering him on.
I don't know how you would resist in that moment. That was otherworldly. Defying gravity to defy CUSP, and now Chevron get another look, but they're on their own end zone line, and they're gonna have to work hard to get out of here.
Dulé under huge pressure.
And he lashes one deep. It's up there. Jake Aspin, Pavin, Gasparini, Williams!
From Williams! A bit of collateral damage to his own teammate. Huge opportunity, and there we go! Chevron putting their flag firmly in the map.
That was unbelievable. Talk about electrifying. Sports entertainment. Williams is the rock of Chevron right now, and they're going to have to try and build a comeback on his foundation. What a point. That's how you energize a team.
Well, we were talking about inspirational plays on the earlier points, but what a way to come out of a half, Lorcan. All guns blazing. That's going to not put fear in the hearts of CUSP, but perhaps a tiny seed of doubt is sown.
Ooh. Well, we'll see if Chevron are able to water it sufficiently. It's still a sizable gap.
Oh yes, they're going to have to do some serious cultivation.
A well-versed squad. And they have been kicking ass all weekend long.
Oh, they have.
Beat Chevron in a universe point game yesterday.
Indeed, and took out, I believe, Clapham by a fair margin as well.
15-10.
There we go.
15-10. We also had a universe point
well, let's see.
Victory earlier on Friday, as well as Laffy looking to make this victory more sizable than that. Sang. Points. Get behind me. Dejpar collects it. Looking for options. He's on the sideline. He sees Laffy. He hits Laffy. Gasparini. Close mark. Moves him away with a nice few shakes. Guppy. Absolutely nobody near him.
Must be an offensive foul there in the stack.
Simone Gasparini. One of the captains of that silver medal squad.
Closest matchup so far CUSP have faced has been Ragnarok, in fact.
They're actually having a
Stadium field.
fantastic tournament.
Oh, they are. They have their full, I believe, roster, full Worlds with all their shiny, shiny pickups.
Oh, that sounds very dangerous, Laffy. Oh, that's cheeky. Puts it under the boot. Gasparini thinks about throwing it around the back to Laffy. Goes against it. Instead takes the far more open copy, who, you know, just shows up every now and again when he's needed. And then he's just going to casually saunter his way back. As Sang goes to Dejpar, and you got to think there was a bit of a foul there. He's already walking to it.
Yeah, that's going to be uncontested. Lots of heavy contact on the mark.
Matt Bevan letting him know he's there. You're not just going to throw it past my body. You have to go around me.
Matt Bevan, a very versatile player, plays a lot of high-level mixed as well as open. Not all players have the ability to switch divisions quite so keenly.
No, or the inclination. But he's a man of many talents. Right now, he's hoping to utilize his ability to put on the force and not get broken by the ludicrous skills of Sang.
A hard ask. But he seems to have managed it for now.
And look at Copy, just taking off. He's going to hide out for a while until he's needed again.
Fabulous switching from Chevron. A timeout call. Lorcan, that seed of doubt being watered heavily right now.
Brilliant, brilliant defense from Chevron. Working their rumps off.
Tireless.
Tireless, but CUSP, they never looked truly flustered. Downfield, they looked stagnant to an extent, but mostly just shut down. But they never looked flustered.
Nope.
Which is the next quarter inch of the screw.
That is indeed. We're currently in probably about gear 2 of defensive pressure.
Outside the end zone, that's not going to work. Oh, now they could set up in something like... I like spicy little zones or clamps in the end zone. Because I like generating chaos. Because I think chaos is the most likely instance in which a turnover will occur. So if you can have a defense that generates chaos, rather than just trying to shut everyone down or constantly be covering everybody, if you can just generate chaos and then be opportunistic, I think that's just your best option in these kind of situations. That's why I like having...
Interesting weirdo descent sets.
Exactly.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Just like poaches and clamps. And like you were saying, in indoors it works ridiculously well. But even in outdoors, because somebody's going to go, oh, that guy's free, and then somebody's going to just make a sick layout D. And if you can generate those traps.
Okay, so you're talking about earlier the fact that CUSP stayed in their zone even with quite a short field. And the issue is with that, obviously, the disc able to travel a much... on the much shorter passes, the issue is when you've got a really long disc, you've got time to catch up, you've got time to read it better, you've got time for the disc to sit. The issue with a shorter field, with any kind of sort of stuttered, zony, poachy, clampy style defense, is those pockets, and the reaction times have to be on point.
Yeah.
You have to have cat-like reflexes.
Chevron.
Arguably, yes. But that's why it's tricky.
It's also entertaining as hell.
Oh, yes. Give the people what they want. Give us what they
Hucks.
want.
Safety dump all the way back to your own end zone. Huck it. Game of 300. Sang with the disc.
Used.
Tejpar busts up the line. Doesn't get it. Laffy's there for him. God, that's so smooth. He just floats it along. Gasparini. Not really being marked that closely. Chevron helping each other out in the backfield. Laffy pops it. Copy. They are moving forward all the time. That's too slick.
Sensational.
Oh, you can rely on Copy to deliver it perfectly. 45-degree angle. You just got to be free. 2 men got free.
Call him the postman because he delivers.
Fantastic stuff from the CUSP stalwart. A delicious, delicious throw. So, after some trepidation, CUSP get on the board in the second half, 9-5. The gap is once again 4. Is that insurmountable?
Well, it's not insurmountable per se, but that's a challenge and a half, especially the way CUSP have been firing in the first half of this game.
So good.
As I said, you know, it looks like they're just going for a walk in the park and casually throwing a disc between each other. They just don't look under real pressure at any point thus far in the game. And do they have much reason to? They've had an undefeated tournament thus far. As you said, Ragnarok getting the closest, pushing them to a 15-14 win on the stadium artificial rubber crumb turf. Out here
in the wilds.
Grass, yeah, in the wild, in their natural habitat, if you will. Just looking very formidable. But Ultimate is a game of momentum. And if Chevy can do something, they can have another crazy shoulder height layout block like they had the one from Williams. They can generate those sort of performances.
They need like at least another 5 of them.
Exactly, but this is the sort of team that could deliver 5 of those kinds of
crazy
bits,
shoulder height layout.
you know, as could CUSP.
That's always an issue.
This is the level we're experiencing right now. This is the pleasure we have of any player on either of these teams is capable of those kind of bids and then something special extra. Perhaps they'll be saving it for the finals.
Oh, I think you got to let it out now if you're Chevron.
You certainly do.
Let it all out as Turner. Looking for options. Barak points, but he's already looked away. That's got to be a high stall count.
Oh,
no, there's a pit called. Calarota putting him under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration poaching off of players, clogging up the space in front of the disc. But it's going to come in at a very high count.
He's got to think he's in a little bit of trouble. He's got Winder as the deepest man, but there's Geppetto Stantucci waiting like a tiger. Gasol as well, who is no slouch. Nobody particularly close to Will. Cornelius.
Yeah, got to be across field. There we are.
Yeah.
Identified well by you, Lorcan.
And then he lashes it all the way back to Turner for the crack.
Oh, and Turner
misreads
it.
Thought he would have had that.
Devastating.
Thought he would have had that.
Sam snake hips Turner.
Slithering his way to the end zone, but unfortunately he couldn't collect it.
Yeah.
So now, Tonetti thinks about lashing it straight away, and to my beating heart, he denies. Although that's pretty attractive. Barak, you'd think he would go for that, but just so quick.
Oh, don't think he had the space.
Floats it up. We got a bit of a battle, but it looks like it's going to be Calarota all day.
That is such a nice put, Lorcan. Absolutely glorious throw, perfectly into the space. Can you ask for more? I do not think you can.
I'd ask for his number. Joppo carving up the Chevron defense.
Shame there. That misread from Turner was very upsetting in terms of actually the man wasn't that close to him. I think he felt the pressure, had to go up with the one hand by virtue of that, but he definitely had time, in my view, to go up with two and make that one a little bit more secure. But
you've got to give some credit to Calarota, not giving up on it.
Oh,
fighting
definitely.
the whole way, putting that pressure in. I've been incredibly impressed by that young man, 22 years old. Fantastic defensive pressure. He's on this D-line putting in work.
That's what you got to do on the D-line. You got to work for it. As we keep saying, that's what's going to win you this game. And Chevron still looking at a 5-point deficit. It's a big old cushion that CUSP have established for themselves.
Big pull, Thomas Edmond. Puts it down and Kime collects. Winder's in the middle, can't get it to him. Sends it to Dathan, opposite side. It's a wide swing, and again we're starting to see that zone. Stifling, crushing, Winder gets it. Thinks about lashing it. He's probably still thinking about lashing it. Barak, opposite sideline.
Even when he's not got the disc, he's thinking about lashing it.
Not a bad thing to be thinking about when you're Joe Winder. Kime, think about playing a bit of short game.
Again,
trying to get past Franceschi.
Lovely hammer over the top to Williams.
Expansive, and Williams looks to send it all the way back in the opposite direction. Fantastic stuff. They're still working. There's a little pop. It's going to be too far away from Barak.
And that is disappointing. Really poor form on their end zone play there from Chevron. Great defense from CUSP.
2 points in a row. The final hurdle is the one that trips them up.
And
they CUSP respond by immediately launching it to the streaking form of Edmund.
Oh, and Rollo sacks Dixon, you thief! Absolute stunner of a catch.
Picking Edmund's pocket. Excuse me, sir. I think you'll find this is mine. Ready to go, and that's how you energize your team. Dathan, got to be feeling that heat. Come on, pull them apart. I'm not so sure I'm such a big fan of the two of them.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I would much rather see Kime and Dathan moving the disc more quickly. We spoke about this in the point that they did score that looked absolutely gorgeous. They moved a lot more, and there we go. Round two of the hammer over the top, not successful.
It's true, but the hammers were...
Oh, no, they were on point.
They were
that
on
was
point.
Just a bad error.
That was unfortunate.
But again, errors.
It's difficult to catch a hammer. But you see they recover quickly.
Oh!
Winder
Spice.
tries to skip across, but Lorenzo Palm with the cheeky backhand up, down, and somehow gets through. Edmund on the front corner of the end zone goes for the scooper, and now they're just showing off.
I have to say, that point was all about unforced errors for Chevron. That's on them. Really, very much on them. They did everything right until they just did it wrong.
Can't teach that.
But as we were saying, I would like to see Kym and Dathan working as a pair much more aggressively, rather than looking too much, sort of trying to...
Why is there only 2 of them back there? I suppose like
It's a
they're
good
trying to spread out further down the field, but it's like, hit them with 4. Do a little bit of weaving. Bit of give and go. Run.
Possibly, although the big man at the back throwing hammers over the top strategy was very effective until that one that just seemed to come in a little bit higher than Sax Dixon was expecting, perhaps.
I do prefer the hammers over the top strategy, if I'm honest. To watch.
It's much prettier for us, but unfortunately not necessarily as effective. But the real crusher in that point had to be the complete lack of discipline in the end zone, and then the miscommunication from Sax Dixon to Barak.
Unfortunate.
Not what you want to see, but I suppose this is the time to learn the lessons. Ultimately, whilst glory at Windmill is very much important and to be respected, certainly both these teams, if they face off in 3 weeks' time, Chevron will hope that that's their turn if this one does, as it seems to be, slip from their grasp.
This tournament is at worst a fantastic party, but at best a whetstone. And that's what they're here to do, sharpen themselves up. So this is just one of the events that's going to help them prepare. Although I'd like to see them make an old comeback, believe in themselves, show us what you're made of. You still got to learn. To learn, you got to put in effort. And that's not something they're going to stop doing.
Well, they're not going to give up, certainly. These are the in-game tight situations that they need, and this is why they are here.
Winder thinks about the inside-out flick. Don't toy with me. Brack, Winder. Maybe he thinks about it again? No, he's trying to direct the offense. Always knowing he has Cold Hammer there. Free. Namesake. Cha-ching.
That was a beautiful little throw and a sneaky play there from Barak. Just gently tiptoeing backwards into the end zone.
No, I'm not. No, guys. I'm looking the other way. That's the direction I'm moving in. Gently tiptoe back, end zone, and catch. That was a beautiful hammer. We clearly don't know what we're talking about. There just should be far more hammers.
There's one thing I've noticed, it's that there should be more hammers. Ah, there you go. You can see where it all went wrong for CUSP's defense there. A little bit of separation, lots of daylight between the intended receiver, Barak, and the defense.
So, 11-6. Time ticking on.
So, as we said, this is where...
An hour. So it really is business time.
Yes, the business end of this game. CUSP 4 points away of securing their space in that final. And a great pressure defense there from Nick Williams.
Coming through as he has throughout this game, Matt Bevan, just to make sure. And now they're going to relax. Take their time. Work it slowly. Calmly. Nobody freak out. Or just throw a hammer straight away.
And there we go. Fantastic read from the defense. Interesting choice there. Sat for a very long time, that hammer. Can't really do that unless there's a bit more separation, / several yards more separation.
So you can even see Nick Williams kind of shrugging, going, I don't know what you expect me to do with that. Copy.
He's good, but he's not that good, I'm afraid. He's only human. He's Butterman.
He do what he can, and right now, Pavan sends it into the middle. Gasparini. Mitra thinks about launching it. isn't going to. Is instead going to pull back, wait, and then go for the easy under the copy, who again is somehow just crazy free.
Well, they're double marking the deep there, Lorcan.
Smart move, but it does mean that the man who is their safety valve will always be free, and it doesn't matter. Cause some chaos and then be opportunistic. Fantastic step through D.
Well, there we go. Speaking of the player who's back from retirement because he got a little sniff of what was cooking in Chevron's kitchen and said, yes, please, I'll have some more of that. Thank you very much. Mark Davin.
Bringing the heat. Bringing the experience. Wild E. Coyote. Aspen. Doesn't send it straight away, but instead decides to go with a little bit of under action. That's what I'd like to see, a bit more movement in that direction. And a nice shot to the end zone. They're looking for Aspen. It might be too far. Oh, he collects it. Is he in bounds?
Oh, Chevron, that is what we need in this game.
Cool guys. Don't look at explosions.
They blow stuff up.
He just walked away.
Well, not after that ridiculous spike. Oh, no, not before the ridiculous big spike there. But that was a lovely sit into the back corner.
I thought it was gone. I thought it was too fast. It was too far. Wasn't going to stay in.
Well taken by Aspen. Very nice indeed.
Just pulling out some leadership moves.
There we go. Oh, saucy.
Reckless.
No concern for his body whatsoever.
You're going to feel that when you're 60. It's going to get cold and you're going to be like, oh yeah, Amsterdam, 2018. 23rd of June. Worth it.
So, doesn't make much of a dent of the scoreline necessarily. 11-7. Lots of breathing space separates Chevron and CUSP Fotta.
I get so worked up in what Chevron do when they do it right because it's so spectacular. And then I forget that, you know, CUSP are really very much in control of this game.
And CUSP are so consistent. So let's go see if they can keep that momentum and keep the game, both hands on the steering wheel, under their control.
Sang. Relaxed, sees Laffy. Knows he is far from alone. Laffy plays that through the test bar. That was so comfortable. Collects it, tries to pop it in. And they say ole as they pull it away. Somehow they get away with that one. Sang now has it. I don't know what was going on there.
Disc slipped under his strident form as he went in to go get that one, and unfortunately couldn't collect.
Mankini.
Oh, huge bid. A little bit in the side.
Little bit of contact. Pavin absorbs it. He's a big boy. Not too worried. Sang. I'd be worried now if I had Sang outside end zone or Francini. Or Laffy. And there's the pop in.
Fabulous work from Sang.
Big
Goes to go up the line, sails his defender, and then just stops on a dime.
And you see Chevy are still fighting with everything they have. Bids all over the place. Clean or clean adjacent. But unfortunately, they just couldn't stop the fluidity of this CUSP offense, which is looking so smooth. So good.
It is beautiful stuff. Still a little bit surprised by that missed defensive bid, body in the way, but amazing finesse from the CUSP player to still catch it anyway. I think we might get another look at that one. Oh,
what was that?
Just grabbed it just ahead of him. There we go, yeah. That second bid as well. A little bit of contact, but nothing the big man can't absorb.
And then Francini to Laffy. And then Laffy's just going to hit Sang.
Fabulous work from Sang, as I say.
You see
very
Williams,
smart.
Do you see him just flying around Sang? Desperation. Go for it. You never know.
Why not, yeah.
But
Joe
Sang.
Cole, why not? And so, 12-7 the score. A 5-point mountain for Chevron to climb once again.
Let's see if they brought the appropriate attire. Winder, Dathan. Thinks about sending it deep, decides against it. I don't know, Turner had some steps.
Yeah,
Cold
good
hammer under.
separation.
He thinks about it, decides against. Instead goes with Ali. So next, Dixon. Kime.
The thing about this O-line is there are so many threats deep. Look at that host stack full of big men. Oh, big pressure.
Goldhammer just takes that one away from Santucci and then launches it up. Sachs Dixon goes and gets it over the extended arm of mine.
And you can see why that one went. Look at those two men stood stature for stature. A full head height, taller than his matchup. Didn't need to be pretty, just needed to sit. Brother Sachs Dixon collects, and they'll punch that in first foot on the mountain. They do appear to be wearing their hiking boots, but have they brought the correct rappelling gear?
Well, let's find out. If those boots are indeed made for walking, or if they're out. I don't. CUSP looks so good.
They do.
They look so relaxed.
Like I say, it's just.
They're just hanging out.
It's not casual. It's not lackadaisical. It's just truly focused and poised offense we're seeing from CUSP.
I wonder what it's like to feel like that.
Must be glorious, Lorcan.
It's just a mystery.
It must be glorious.
Well, Chevron are going to hope to crack some of that veneer.
And smiles on their faces still on the sideline, which is always good to see.
Integral.
Heads up, good positive body language from the gents who are behind in this game by now. A 4-point margin. Score 8-12.
So we see that sky one more time. Energizing, because their plays, they just end with such panache and style, power. They're just explosive, and that one's going to go out. Laffy bricks it.
Yeah, it's too explosive a pull. Ideal
12 minutes
field
left.
position. Yep, 12 minutes left. Ideal field position now. We're going to see perhaps a set play from the gentleman from Bologna.
I still like the fact that they have to walk out and measure their own brick mark. So here comes Laffy.
Oh,
and he
it
immediately
goes.
sang. He's been handling all day. And this time they just strike. Beautiful. One throw offense. That's how you drown a puppy.
Set play. Called it. Hashtag called it. See, that's my favorite thing to do, Lorcan. My favorite thing to do as someone who is a handler by trade on the ultimate field. I'm going to handle all game, get you inside. Later in the game, just go immediately. Or the little pop-off center and then go.
And
that
just
was
nobody
beautiful.
near him. He started sprinting and then just didn't stop.
Showing he too has been running plenty of track sessions ahead of Cincinnati.
What a throw by Laffy as well. On a platter. All I had to do was go eat it up.
That was almost laughably easy. We cannot resist the puns here on the live stream. The sun is shining, the beer is cold and crisp, and the Iggy is getting ready to receive with open welcome arms the winners of these semi-finals. Looking like CUSP might be stamping their ticket to get into that one on the Robocrom turf tomorrow in front of the fans and the cameras. We'll be bringing you the action. Got the mixed semi-finals also coming up after this, but for now, over to Chevron Ultimate, see if they can get back on that 5-point margin.
Time to put in some work. Get out your shovels. Dathan, Kime.
Hi-ho indeed.
Turner. Waiting for something. You get two options in front of him. Eventually goes with Ali. Coldhammer. You can see they're still smiling. They're still having fun. Turner goes deep.
Oh,
Coldhammer opts instead to throw it to Trombetti. A strange decision. And that's just pretty. By which I mean pretty offensive. Donetti scoops it. Trombetti picks it up.
So we have a match point situation, ladies and gentlemen. CUSP Bologna, after a frankly bizarre misthrow there from Coldhammer, just throwing directly into the defense. Perhaps Goldhammer deciding he too wants to join the international pickups on CUSP's roster. I'm not sure anyone's told him. Unfortunately, it's too late to do that at this stage, this late stage. Just 3 weeks remaining for both of these teams before they make the trip over to the States, just hopping across the pond. But how long can Chevron stem the bleeding? How long can they keep this game and the dream, the hope of a final alive?
14-8.
I don't see them holding off the offense of CUSP for 6 straight points. Do you?
Do you see him getting a 10?
It could happen. We've seen some furious bids. We've seen some excellent play from Chevron. If they bring the best that they've brought so far to this game, they could make 10. Because they're about to make it 9 potentially if they hold this one. So all that is a hold and a break. But CUSP will certainly be coming out, seeing if they can seal this one off on the very first match point available to them as Dathan.
That's a young athletic line out there.
It is.
They're trying to shut him down. Let's see what Kaim can do. Plays it along. Barak thinks about launching it. He's dissuaded by Tonetti. Williams. Trombetti marking him.
Hesitant.
You can see how Trombetti is there watching the dump cutter while on the force. Fighting Franceschi. Can't stop it. Sacks Dixon. Throws it around to Williams. Williams has Tonetti in front of him. Goes for the hammer. It's been working all day. And it seems like it'll work into the evening. Barak gets a score.
Excellent spirit there. CUSP player immediately signaling the score, having been keeping an eye on the feed of Barak. Beautiful stuff. And so, Lorcan, you were making disparaging comments about Chevron not making it to 10.
I wasn't. I was asking you, did you think they would make it to 10
you had a
in a disparaging tone?
Lorcan, you had a
whatever
you
inferred is your business.
Okay. Well,
much like whatever our listeners infer. I just want to get the facts straight.
All right. Disparaging tone and body language and facial expression. She'll have to.
And general belief.
It fits into the narrative of your commentary of this game thus far. So this is the moment. This is the training ground, like you said, the whetstone ahead of Cincinnati for both the O-line of CUSP and the D-line of Chevron.
So
Two juggernaut teams, the elites of European Ultimate, head-to-head, point for point. For Chevron, you've got to say it's 0-0 game to 1. Every single point the rest of this game. Second match point, O-line's chance to take it, secure their space. What do you reckon?
O-line. All day. Copy. They just need to build around him. It'll be fine. Everything will stay calm. Someone will get free. Franchini, that was awfully close. Sang has it. That was disastrously close. Bevan couldn't quite get all of it. Sang pops into the middle to copy. There he is. You know, just casual reset. Tejpar putting in work. Getting away to an extent. Looking, gets an easy dump into Franchini. Franchini hits copy. It's Sang, and it's just so smooth. It's so effortless. It's been like this all game. This is why, you know, like they're just going to take their time. They're not going to rush. It's just nice and relaxed. Pavan, you think he's going to freak out? Go for something crazy? Defense is getting pretty close.
There it is.
No, it just works out fine.
Huge inside backhand. That is a beautiful way to finish it. I thought in that last point, Chevron's defense, they were playing conservative. They were loose on the marks. They were meters away from their players. They were allowing some unders. They had to play in the pocket defense if they were going to have a hope of getting it off of the Italian teams. Fantastic match, Lorcan. Everything you wanted to see, plus a little bit sprinkled extra. Huge bids, salaciously good offense.
Massive grabs. Little bit of controversy in the opening exchanges involving Davide Mori. We know we're not meant to talk about it, but you know that's what you're all here for. You know it. You know it. You love the controversy. Everybody
Give
at
the
home.
people what they want.
And
Davide delivers.
the people will not go wanting after that game. But should you still have a little bit of hunger left in you, we do have the mixed semi-finals coming up next.
What do you mean hunger left? That's what the fans are waiting for, look, and they're waiting for the action of the mixed division. We will be bringing you, I believe, SE6, the Swedes. But I've been told to get out of this one. I've been Hannah Pendlebury.
I've been Lorcan Murray.
And it's been an absolute pleasure. Stay with us for the action from the mixed semi-finals. We'll see you soon.
Alti.tv